Hello and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. For those of you new to us, Wellness Wednesday is where we share practical wellness tools and techniques that are for experts on topics that are important to patients, survivors, and caretakers alike. I'm Erin Kuhn-Krieger from Rolf Pancreatic Cancer Foundation, and I'm so happy to be back here moderating the first session of the year with Lily Horowitz from the Core Method, talking about strong bodies and strong minds. Before we get to Lily, I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for your support and generous donations this past year. While we're still crunching numbers, we are confident that last year we raised over $800,000 to support patients and their families, as well as early detection pancreatic cancer research. I'm going to say that again, $800,000. It's incredible, and we would not be here without all of your support and our loyal donors and friends for believing in Rolf's mission. So thank you so much. Tonight is the first session of a great calendar of educational events and programming to come in 2022. As we continue to navigate COVID, we have all sorts of opportunities for you to connect with us in ways that feel most comfortable to you. We're excited to announce that this year's Dash will once again have a together option. As of right now, Dash will take place on, overall, Dash will take place on Saturday, June 11th. As of right now, there will be an in-person option at Montrose Harbor in Chicago, as well as a virtual option that we have come used to these past couple of years. We'll release more details on Dash and other events soon, so be sure that you're following all of our social media channels. Now, a few housekeeping tips. Don't forget to ask questions throughout the session in the comment section below, or you can email us at info@rolffoundation.org. We'll be saving all questions until the end to make sure we're able to get everybody. Lily Horowitz is a leading certified Pilates instructor with over 30 years of experience in the fitness industry. She is a core guru and the founder and creator of the Core Method here in Northbrook, and she has devoted her life to helping clients get strong from the inside out. You may remember last time Lily talked with us about core exercises to do after surgery. And today she's going to be expanding upon that to tell and show us how we can more effectively strengthen our core for everyday life. Welcome, Lily.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. My name is Lily Horowitz, as Erin just said. I'm the founder and creator of the Core Method, which is a Pilates-based program to help you strengthen your core. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm referencing your core, I'm really talking about the very deepest layer of muscle tissue you have here. Starts at the last rib and it goes to the top of the pubic bone. It's called your transverse abdominis, or TA for short. It is a very deep and fibrous muscle, but it is the very, very first thing your body makes after your spine and your organs. And it's the only muscle in your whole body that wraps around you like a cylinder. It's literally a cylinder. So we're going to teach our mind to control that part of our body using some cues that I give every day for the last 25 years. So let me just say, first of all, how much I adore the Rolf Pancreatic Cancer Foundation. I have a brother who has pancreatic cancer and he's surviving so far. He has had surgery, so I understand that component. These exercises are really more for you to do on your own if you can. They're modified versions of what you might see people doing. They just have 3 components that other people don't connect with or know about, so that we can start our work from that very deepest layer of muscle tissue we have all the way up to these pretty 6-pack muscles, which, you know, don't mean anything unless you want to wear a bikini, because we're talking about strength for life and being able to keep ourselves standing upright, being able to have better posture, being able to have better balance. These are all things that we face as we age. And let's face it, nobody's getting any younger. This work is very doable work for anybody in the world to do. And most of my clients are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. So I know what I'm talking about. And I know that you can teach your body and your mind to do these things to help you gain more strength to whatever capacity you want that to be at. You just have to connect your mind with your body. So these movements are very mindful. We're going to be thinking 3 things. And at some point you'll be like, oh, how many things does she want me to think about? There's a lot of things going on, which is why it's mindful while we're performing these movements so that we can actually connect with our core and not just let these bigger muscle groups do all the work. Okay, so you're like, all right, what does she want to tell us? Here's what I want to tell you. If you tell your body and your brain long enough what you want it to do, your brain will actually remember those cues and it will tell you what you should be doing. So, for example, the first cue you'll hear me say is shoulders retracted, which means shoulders pulling down towards your rib cage. It's actually a very subtle movement. You're not squeezing your shoulder blades together and opening up your heart center. We're not doing that. We're keeping those shoulders exactly where they are. We're just thinking about dropping them down. So if you can do that, you can go ahead and give it a try. Shoulders retracted, you just drop down. You can feel space between your shoulder and your earlobe. And that's what we want, because most of us in everyday life are just like this all the time. So this actually is a nice, not only does it connect with one of the connectors with transverse abdominis and your core, it's also a really good way to open this whole area up if you're somebody that spends your life like this. Okay, second cue is your middle, your core. We're going to think navel to spine. So like you have a string at the back of your belly button and you're pulling it towards your spine. You're not going to push your belly out. We're going to pull your belly in. And we're going to remember to do that on our exhale. So we will be inhaling and exhaling through this little workout that we're going to do together. And we will be learning how to exhale, expand all the breath out of our body, like expand your lungs and then get it out. And as you exhale, you're going to pull navel to spine. You'll feel that connection with the shoulders dropped. And the last component is your legs. We are always going to have your glutes working, your inner thighs working, and we're going to be doing our work mostly in something called Pilates Stance. If you ever did ballet, it's sort of like first position. But the most important thing is your heels, that your heels are touching and squeezing together. And I know you're like, why is that so important? It is important because when you squeeze the heels together, you do 2 things. You engage those inner thighs, adductors as they're pronounced, but you engage them by squeezing the heels together. The other thing you do by squeezing the heels together is you learn to engage your back line. So all the way up your backside to your glutes. And you squeeze those heels together and press the heels into the floor, you feel your glutes turn on. And you know what? Your body, the body, everybody's body, including mine, it's a little lazy. Like it just wants to do what it wants to do. It wants to make big movements. It likes flailing arms. It likes legs whipping around. It wants to do that. Those movements require bigger muscle groups to connect so that you do that. The problem is that arms and legs are connected to this. So in my world, when your arms and legs are moving, this needs to be connected. It's really important. Otherwise, you have arms and legs moving and there's no connection with the middle of your body. And if you've ever had surgery on this part of your body, and I mean any kind of surgery, I had 2 C-sections, right? Those muscles are cut. So sometimes they're a little sleepy. It takes a little bit to turn them on. Don't get frustrated. It will happen, I promise. You just have to keep reminding your body to do those things. Shoulders retracted, navel to spine will connect it with the breath. Heels are together. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna do a little workout. If you know how to hit your record at the top right of your screen, you can record it and Zoom will send you a recording of this workout and then you can have it for yourself. So let's get started. If you have a chair, go ahead and get it. If you don't, I'll give you 2 minutes, go grab a chair, any chair, sit on a kitchen chair. If you have a stool works too. Just anything where you can use it for a little bit of support. All right, so let's head back. I'm gonna head to my mat. And we're gonna get started. Okay, so I want you to remember that you are sitting, we're not just sitting, okay? This is how everybody wants to sit, because this is comfortable. But I actually want you to really think about sitting straight up. So we call it 90 degrees. If you pull navel to spine and pull the shoulders down, just sitting here, you should be able to feel something going on deep down inside. It's deep. It's like a little, almost feels like, oh, I've never felt that before. What is that? That is transverse abdominis, okay? So I'm gonna ask you to move all the way up to the front of the chair, to the front of the seat. So your sits bones, which are these bones right underneath your glute muscles here, are right at the edge. And I'm gonna go forward so you can see what I'm gonna do. I will shift between this position and that position if you need to see my posture. All right, so feet are together. Do yourself a favor and press your heels into the floor right here. What happens? Do you feel this whole back line of your body connect? Because you should. We're gonna drop the shoulders down and we're gonna bring the arms right here. And we call this Genie Pose. Sometimes it's like, poof, no, we're not done yet. But keep your shoulders down and arms up here. And then we're gonna pull navel to spine. I just want you to think about it here. Now, very slowly, we're gonna press the left leg into the ground and we're going to exhale, blow our air out, like we're fogging a mirror in front of us. That will automatically connect you with navel to spine, so you won't even really have to think about it if you exhale that way. And we're gonna use navel to spine to lift this leg. So watch, exhale. Inhale, take it down. Exhale. Lift it up. Now I'm gonna go sideways so you can see, keep going, how little my leg is actually lifting. It's not lifting very high here. It's very little. What my body wants to do if my core is not connecting is this, right? My body could do this all day long. Here's the problem. I'm only working my quad and hip flexor. I'm not connecting to my core in any way, shape, or form. So let's keep going. You want to sit up nice and tall. Exhale, inhale. Good. And pull navel to spine, drop those shoulders. You have to keep remembering, what do I need to do? Drop my shoulders, pull my belly in, and don't let the quad take over. So you can see my foot is lifting very little. We're gonna do 3 more. 3, good, exhale up, 2, last time, and 1. Now we're gonna press that right foot into the ground and we're gonna lift the left leg up. Again, your foot is lifting this much off the ground. Exhale up, inhale down, exhale up, slow and controlled, exhale up. I want you to remember this part of your body is controlling the movement, because if it isn't, then the movement will control this part of your body, which is what we don't want. Exhale up. And if you tell your brain long enough what you need it to do to help you connect with this part of your body, it actually starts doing it for you. And you will be somewhere, you'll be slouched, and all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my God, I feel it, navel to spine. I can do this. And it can be done sitting, standing, walking. Exhale up. Good. 4 more. 4. Good. 3, 2. Good. And 1. All right. Nice job. Now we're going to keep your feet squeezing together and pressing into the ground. And we're going to just open the knees. So here I want you to think, look, and now watch. Can you see what happens to my body here? How I'm lifted up a little bit? That's because I'm squeezing my cheeks, my glute cheeks together. I'm squeezing together, I lift up a little bit. If I'm not squeezing together, nothing's working necessarily the way it could be. And I'm gonna do the work, but I'm not gonna get the same kind of benefit. So I want you to think, squeeze your cheeks if you can. If this is okay, keep it here. If not, you can bring your arms down. And then from here, with your cheeks squeezing, we're gonna do Clam. Everybody knows Clam, because in PT, everybody makes you do Clam. Because Clam is one of those exercises that are really good for you. It's a good movement. It actually works your hip rotators, those muscles that open your hips this way and this way, and it actually strengthens them. So, but if we just sit here and open our legs, is that gonna work? No. So we need to connect the mind with the body, and it's very thoughtful movement. We're thinking about everything we're doing. Exhale, open, inhale, close. Good. Exhale, open, inhale, close. Keep going. Open. Good. Open. Good. We're going to do 5 more. 4. I count on my fingers. 3. Sometimes I'm not right, but usually I'm right. Last time. And 1. Okay, good. Good. Let's give our upper body a rest for a minute. We're actually going to take it and hold underneath the chair. So just bring your fingertips underneath the chair and sit up nice and tall. I'll show you the side view. Underneath the chair, sitting up nice and tall. Okay, now watch. I'm going to stay this way so you can see my leg here. We're going to do a traditional little leg lift, right? Where you would normally be without my cues. If I said, just sit here and lift your leg, this is what you would do. This is what our body wants to do, which is fine. It's good for this group of muscles that need to stay strong because we need them for strong knees, but we're not engaging from here. If we sit this way, exhale, and think about navel to spine is what's lifting your leg off the ground. It's a completely different exercise. Now, this part of your body is working to lift this leg up and keep you sitting up straight. So you're going to press the right leg down and lift the left leg up. Hold on underneath the chair. Good. Up. Good. We're going to do 3 more. 2, last time, and 1. Okay, good. We're going to switch legs, but we're going to do 2 different positions in this exercise. So again, sit up nice and tall. You can squeeze those cheeks together to fire up your glutes. It will actually help you. Exhale, lift. And glutes are part of your core. They're not only connected to your core, they're part of your core, part of your powerhouse that your arms and legs are connected to. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Good. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Good. Lift. And lower. 2 more. Good. Last time. And 1. Okay, good. From here, we're going to go back to that first leg. So left leg or right, whichever you're using is fine with me. We're going to turn that toe out. So now toes are not straight up to the ceiling. You're going to turn out a little bit. Again, holding underneath that chair, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders retracted, navel to spine. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Good. Again, if your core is lifting that leg, it is not a big range of motion movement. It's actually pretty small. Good. Exhale, lift and down. Good. Think about those shoulders. Good. And I want you to flex your foot and lead with your heel and feel the difference in the back line of your body. One more. Good. All right, we're gonna switch feet. Turn that toe out, hold underneath. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Again, navel to spine is what's lifting my leg. It is not lifting independently. Good. Exhale. Good. Nice and slow. Shoulders down. Belly in. 2 more. Up. Good. Last time. And up. Okay, good. Now, we are going to keep the feet together, pressing into the ground. And you're going to keep your knees together. We're going to just take your hands here. And slowly, and I want you to remember, less is more, okay? Bigger movement does not mean better work. Smaller movements mean more core control. Bigger movements mean less core control and more momentum, which is not core, which is movement controlling the core, not core controlling the movement. So let's have your hands here. You're gonna pull your belly in, navel to spine. You can see what happens when I do that. I'm just automatically sitting up a little bit. Squeeze those knees together, press those feet into the floor. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're gonna drop those shoulders, lean back, roll back just a little bit, not a big movement, and bring it up. Good, again, exhale, go back. Good, and bring it up. Good, exhale, go back. So you can feel those knees and feet squeezing together to connect with inner thighs, which is the bottom portion of transverse abdominis that it connects with. Good, so that's the third important thing to think about. Exhale, shoulders down. They will go up whenever we're not thinking about it. Like you'll be like, oh, shoulders retracted. They're way up here. That's where they want to be. It's comfortable, but you can see when they're down, it's much more effective. One more, last time. Good. So we did about 10 of those. You can't do 10, do 5. If you can't do 5, do 2. All I care mostly about is that you do these the correct way, so you stay safe and you don't make the movements too big, and you should never feel anything in your lower back. So if you do, that means make your movement a little smaller. Don't do so many repetitions. We're gonna do the exact same thing, but we're going to just turn the torso a little bit to the left. That's it. And then, again, sitting up tall, pull navel to spine, exhale, go back. Now you're going back straight, but because your torso is turned a little bit to the left, you're gonna feel obliques. So obliques are part of your core. They're one of the muscles. You have internal and external obliques. It's like an anatomy lesson. And these muscles crisscross in the front and the back to make your waist. So we want to work on these, especially if we're over 50 like me. And then at some point you're like, oh, what happened to my waistline? So obliques are important to work. Good, but we want to stay connected with transverse abdominis. So we're connected there first, and then like an onion, we're going up to these more superficial layers of our core. Okay, last time. Remember, can't do 10, do 5. Less is more because turn over to the right a little bit. Exhale, hinge back. Because I want your core to control the movement. And I want you to be in proper form whenever you're making these movements. Exhale back. Good. Exhale back. So you control the movements here. Core controls the movements. Pull it in, blow your air out, hinge back. 5 more. Good. 4, 3, good. 2, exhale to go back. Don't forget, drop those shoulders, and 1. Okay, good job. we're gonna do some standing core work. So I know you're like, what? You work your core while you're standing? You work your core while you're doing everything here. So we're gonna stand up and we're going to hold on to the chair if you need to. We're gonna take our feet, this is what I was talking about, in Pilates stance, okay? And you're gonna squeeze those heels together. You're gonna feel it zip all the way up this front line of your body. And then that connects with transverse abdominis. Now, we're gonna do a little arm work. So we're gonna take the arms up, and no, you do not need weights to work your body and actually build muscle. You can do everything with no weights whatsoever. We're gonna take the arms out, and we're gonna flex the palms here, and we're gonna go little pulses down. I want you to think shoulders retracted. I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see my positioning. I know my head's out of the picture. I want you to press your heels into the floor and in towards each other. So they're pressing down, you'll feel the glutes work, and then they're pressing in, you'll feel the glutes work. Good. So we're gonna do about 10 of these, but you can do more. You can always do more. Good. And then we're gonna turn the palms so that they're facing backwards. And you're gonna go back, drop the shoulders, keep those arms low. Exhale to go back, exhale to go back. Pull the belly in as you're pressing those arms back. Shoulders away from your ears. And you can see my arms are working, my muscles are engaged, I'm not lifting a weight here. Good, and now you're gonna turn the hand position this way. So your palms are forward and you're gonna go forward. Little pulses, good. Navel to spine. Exhale as you press forward. Good, press forward. And this works all the areas of your arms, your biceps, your triceps. There's lots of names for them. And flexing the palms actually just helps you engage all the muscles up to your shoulder. Good, last one. Good, and then last thing here, palms up to the ceiling. Flex the palms and you're going up. Good, so we went down, we went back, we went forward, and now we're going up. Good, because I believe in working 360 all the way around the body when we can. Good, last time. Okay, good job. All right, now, if you need to balance on the chair, go ahead and do so. We're going to stand on one leg, and then we're going to press the heel into the ground of that leg. Can you feel how your glute turns on? From there, just put your hand on your hip, keeping your toes facing forward. You're gonna exhale, move that leg out, inhale, center. Out, in, again. Out, in. Your body wants to do this. This is what your body wants to do. Turn the toe up a little bit to get that hip to open and lift that leg. So once again, work the biggest muscle we've got in our body, the quad. But I want you working these smaller muscles out here. These outer part of your glute. You have 3 parts of the glute, maximus, medius, and minimus. Medius and minimus are out here. They're important. Most people just work on maximus, bridging, squats, lunges. It doesn't get out here. And at the same time, if you don't need to hold on to the chair, you can extend and balance using your core to keep you balanced. So shoulders down, exhale, navel to spine as the leg goes out. Exhale, and if you need to put your foot down in between, absolutely you can. Good, 2 more. Good, okay, nice job. And then we're gonna switch, actually, let's turn this way. We're gonna do one for the glute here. We're gonna turn the toe out. Standing up tall, you're not gonna move very much, navel to spine, press the heel of that standing leg into the ground, and just take your leg back. Think that your glute engaging is what's lifting that leg, not your lower back. Because if you do that, it comes more from up here than down here. Good, let's do 3 more. So I'm running out of time, because sometimes that happens. I get a little excited and I'm like, oh, we can do this, oh, we can do that. And then I'm like, oh, we have to stop last time. All right, good. So now we're gonna just switch sides. I'm gonna move my chair down a little bit and go to the other side. Same exact thing. Standing up nice and tall, exhale out. Watch my foot. Keep your body and your hips squared off to your camera or whatever you're watching this on. Good. Keep going. Good. 5 more, and then we're just doing 10 of the glute ones, and we are done. Good. Exhale as you extend. 3. Watch the toes. 2. Good. And 1. Nice job. Okay, we're going to turn this way. Again, standing up nice and straight. Press that foot into the mat. Turn this toe out. Exhale. Your glute squeezing is what's lifting your leg. Exhale up and down. Good. Up. Up. Good. 7. Exhale to move that leg. 8. Good. 9. Last one. And 10. Good job, you guys. That was great. I can't see you, but I'm assuming you were all doing it with me and not just watching the exercise. I hope you were. Remember, those 3 things are key, and you can take them with you, and I'm sure we will talk about them again. All those cues, because that's what helps you activate so you can connect your mind with your body, your limbs with your core. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining, and thank you for participating, and it was such a pleasure to be here. I'm going to send it back to Erin, so I think we can do some questions and answers.
For sure. Thank you, Lily. That was really great. And I think more challenging than people think, right? We talked earlier as we were setting things up before we went live, how too often people think, oh, I'm not sweating. I'm not, I must not be working out. And so I'm hoping that this helps to disprove that. And, you could really do a lot with little motion.
You can do a lot with little motion for sure. And I think the world is just used to, bigger, faster, harder, stronger, sweatier. And I don't know, I do good and I'm strong and I don't ever lift a weight more than 3 pounds, ever. But it's about how you do it, it's what you're doing and how you're doing it, as opposed to just letting your body do it. Because the body, if you leave it to its own devices, it wants to cheat all the time. And it's not you cheating, it's your body. Right. And it wants to turn the toes so you can work the quad. It wants to, in a squat, go to your toes instead of your heels, so you're not working your glutes the way you should be. And it just does these things. It makes you go fast. It wants you to go faster because slower is harder. Right. When you go slow, you can feel the connection with your core. And your body's like, well, I don't want to work that hard. I mean, let's get all these big muscles to do the work. That's what they're there for. But the problem is that, muscular imbalance is definitely something. One thing is stronger than the other. You get injury, you get overuse, and things aren't working the way they should. And then that's a problem.
For sure. Sure. We've had a lot of questions come through during our talk. And if everyone watching, if you have additional questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. Yep. Or if you feel more comfortable, you could always email us at info@rolffoundation.org. So the first one is, I've had surgery, which obviously affects the core muscles. Can I build them back?
Yes, you can build them back. I've had surgery. And they cut my core muscles too, all the way down to transverse abdominis to get 2 babies out. So you can. Will it happen right away? No. But your body, if you tell it long enough and enough what it needs to do to help you connect with this part of your body, you will eventually connect. It might feel a little bit like, I say, they might be sleeping now. Like it's like a little bit of sleep and like, well, it was there and then we cut it and it's together, but we heal. The body can heal and the muscles can heal. And okay, so it's the original way. Okay, I have a fake hip and now I have a fused neck. So, it just is what it is. It's your body is your body, but you can definitely teach your body how to move the right way again and how to strengthen the right way again.
Sure, which I think goes back to something else we were talking about before we went live. The idea of you can teach an old dog new tricks. That, you know, too often I think we hear, oh well, I've had that baby or I've had surgery, so my core is shot. And so it's great to hear that there's still work that can be done.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
progress that can be seen.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
the next question we have has to do with a Pilates bar kit. Somebody actually sent us a link on Amazon. Should someone take a class to understand how to best use it, or is that a good beginner device?
Is it like the bar with the, like it looks like tubing and a bar?
Yeah, it almost looks like it's trying to take the place of the reformer,
Yeah.
almost like a standing reformer, maybe.
Oh,
The image of the person is standing, so I don't know.
okay. Well, yeah. Listen, any tool is good if you learn how to use it the right way, is how I feel. And I'm sure they have a video that goes with it. I would definitely watch the video, learn what they're saying, and what they want you to do, and then remember my cues.
Okay.
And then remember my cues, because nobody will cue it that way. But if you do it the way they're doing it with my cues, you won't get hurt. You won't get hurt. It'll be easier to perform it. But I don't poo-poo any of that stuff. Sometimes my clients, well, classes are not really happening now, mat classes, just because they are, but it's much smaller than it used to be. But they all knew when Christmas break, they would go out of town and I would come back, they would come back, and there would be a whole new apparatus here for them to use. And I have sticks and tubing with handles. So I mimic that Pilates machine, just with a dowel rod and some tubing, just because I'm creative and I'm not going to buy, an expensive piece of equipment for, 10 people for 10 mats.
Sure.
Right. But I like all that stuff. I think anything you can do to challenge your body to work a different way than what it's used to is good.
Great. So how about the folks so you showed a lot of great movement for folks that are mobile, right? Of all ages. How about those who aren't mobile right now? Maybe they're recovering from surgery or chemo is the after effects. So folks that are on bed rest or either can't get out of bed or on the couch, is there any that we can do laying down and still?
Oh yeah, there's a lot you can do laying down. Would you like me to show you some? I mean, so we have it on record, so people can actually. That would be great. I mean, I'm not a big lift your head off the ground gal, because you can actually engage your core without lifting your head. And it's actually not great for your spine to lift your head. But one really good exercise is, if you just lay on the, so if you're in bed and all you can, you're not mobile, you can go ahead and bend one leg. Good. And make sure that your hips stay neutral. So the minute this leg bends, this is how the body wants to cheat. It'll push this leg and then tuck your hips under. Can you see what just happened? So this is where I want you to be. This is called neutral spine. So I have a space at my lumbar spine. I don't want to push it down to the ground, because the minute I do that, now the only thing that's going to work when I lift up is my quad. And I'm not really going to be engaging here. Plus, I'm not keeping my spine neutral. So all you do is lay down, one knee bent, drop your shoulders, so shoulders retracted even in the bed. And then you're going to take your hands and press them down on the ground. And when you press your hands on the ground, you can actually feel your core engage the minute you press down. So everything's connected. All you're going to do is this: press the hands down, take a breath in, exhale, lift this leg up. You'll feel the work all the way up. Exhale. So simple things like that. And here, do it in both positions, toes up and then toes turned out. And really make sure you flex that foot, because I want the leg, you can lift the leg like this. I call it floppy. It's my fancy term. floppy leg lifting up and down, which nothing's really working, but that's what your body wants to do. Or press the arms down, shoulders down, exhale, navel to spine, flex the foot, squeeze the glute, lift the leg. So it's a little more thoughtful thinking about what you need to do, but this is a great exercise in bed. It's a great exercise in bed. You can also do this in bed. Tabletop one leg, make sure you're neutral here. Don't tuck under this way. Press those arms down, exhale, press the leg out. Again, flexing that foot wraps the work around to the back of the leg instead of always relying on this hip flexor. And so it's just in to 90, which is in line with your hip, not all the way into your chest, because we're never taking our body out of a neutral position. And then just exhale out right in line with that other leg, or higher if you can't. You could be here and exhaling here if that's all your body can handle. That's fine. Any movement you can make is beneficial. So it doesn't have to be the way I'm doing it or the way someone else can do it. It's about how you can do it. It's a very individual situation. And then you can do this, lower the leg, flex the foot, squeeze the glute. So I always say, you'll hear me say, make your brain think, press your heel down to the ground. Because when you tell your brain what you want it to do with that body part, it actually does it. And then every time you get down to do it, your brain will be like, oh yeah, you gotta flex the foot, squeeze the glute to control the movement and activate the core at the same time. So those are 4 really good exercises if you are, you can't stand on your feet or you have neuropathy and it's hard to stand on your feet. I know all about that. And it's hard to stand on your feet. It doesn't feel good. So sure, anything in a chair sitting, if you can just sit at the end of the bed, you can do all those things we did right at the end of the bed if you can sit up at the end of the bed. So you don't have to be mobile. None of my work, remember I teach people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's my population. Those are the people that really want to get strong or need to get strong, or their doctor told them, you really need to strengthen your core, because if you don't, your back, your osteoporosis is going to get worse, your hump is going to get worse, whatever it is. And then they come to me and they're like, well, do I do 500 sit-ups a day? What do I do? I'm like, no, you never have to lift your head off the ground to really engage your core. And again, we're not talking about these superficial muscles. We're talking about deep, deep, deep down inside muscles. And you're never too old, ever.
Love that.
Ever. I've had 80-year-olds come to me. They've never moved their body. And they learn how to do it.
It's fantastic. A follow-up to the lack of mobility. Someone said, I'm going through chemo and don't feel like moving, even though I know I should. What would you suggest for starting a workout regime when I don't feel up to it?
It's hard to say. Chemo it's hard. It can really knock your socks off and you just don't feel like yourself. I am not an advocate of push through. You have to do this every day. I am not an advocate of that at all. I don't believe that. And I think everybody needs to listen to their body. And if your body doesn't feel like it can do it legitimately, not up here, you're thinking my body can't do it, but literally your body, you don't have the energy or you don't have the strength or you just don't feel good. Don't do it. That's what I say. Because pushing yourself to do it when your body's not really feeling ready, that first maybe week after chemo or 5 days or whatever it ends up being, you have to heal. So I'm not a push througher, but I am somebody that says you have to move your body in some way every day. Does that mean you have to do a half an hour exercise program? No. That means stand up and sit down off your bed for 10 times. You know what I mean? Just do some sit-ups, stand to sit, and just think about pushing your heels into the ground and sitting back into your glutes. it's really what you can do. But I do believe that you need to move your body in some way every day, even if it's just 10 leg lifts. I think the more you move your body, the better your body feels. Mm-hmm. But again, that's when you physically feel up to it. And chemo affects everybody differently. But no, I think if you don't feel good and you feel nauseous and you don't feel like working out, you know what? You should heal and not work out. And it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of days ahead to move your body and work out. I just wouldn't get your mind into the habit of not doing it because, I had chemo. Like, some days you might not feel so bad. I mean, it might not be so terrible, and you might be able to do a few leg lifts or a few sit to stands or a walk around the block. I think movement is the key to keeping everything together and moving just the way it should in our body. I think people need to move. Sitting is the new smoking. It's not great for you.
Right.
It's really not. And the clients I see that are movers, they are in way better shape and they're all the way around than the people that never moved. So if you've never moved, nothing wrong with it. You can start moving now. Right. You can do little things every day. You can stand and lift the knee up. I mean, you can stand at the microwave and hold onto the counter and do those side leg extensions that we did. You can go up to your toes and down. There's a million things you can do to just get things moving in your body. Because I think when they are, you feel better.
For sure.
But physically, if you feel crappy from chemo, don't move. Just heal. And in a few days, if you feel a little better, make your body do something. Make your body do something.
I love that advice of being kind to yourself. And the other piece I think is great is that all of these exercises are good for the caretakers too, who are
100%.
doing so much and, these little snippets of exercise that while they're waiting for their coffee to brew or while, that it's possible to get this movement in for everybody. Mm-hmm. So is there a sweet spot for how many times to do these exercises in order to start seeing results? And what do results look like? I'll go
Joseph Pilates said that his mantra was 10 times before you feel a difference, 20 times before you see a difference, and 30 times before other people are like, Erin, what are you doing? Your butt looks good, or your legs look good, or you're standing taller, your posture's different, that kind of stuff. So, that's 10, 20, 30 sessions of doing the work, right? But moving every day it's like you have to crawl before you can walk and, walk before you can run. And it's the same thing. If you can't move, you can't go into it thinking like, oh, well, I have to be over here already, because that's just a setup for failure. It's like a New Year's resolution to me, which I think are just like, I think you set yourself up. You can set yourself up for failure. And like, why do that?
Right.
Just know that when you get into it, it's hard and it's going to be hard. But if you do it the right way, you will see the results and you feel the results.
Great. So next question is, every time I do leg raises, my hips pop. Am I doing something wrong?
Not doing something wrong, but in leg raises, you sometimes can, you mean in leg raises, sitting or laying, do we know? Or you're like laying on your side? So if you're laying on your side doing a leg raise, like this, and we do this is a mainstay. This is another thing you can do in bed, by the way, or if you're not mobile. And this is great for obliques, the whole sideline of your body from here all the way down. You'll flex your foot, and then I like to keep the hips stacked up, one on top of the other. You can look down the front line of your body, make sure you can see your feet, and then press your bottom leg down. Both feet flex. Make your bottom leg activate so that your bottom leg's not hanging out here while your top leg is moving. What happens here is you get floppy again. And then if you go too high, you can get that hip pop. Usually pops and cracks are, nothing more than like tendon snapping over the bone. It's nothing to worry about. It's, you know, it's not anything to like go to the doctor for. If it hurts when you snap and pop, snap, crackle, and pop, I call it, then yeah, you go to the doctor, something might be wrong with your hip. Maybe you have a labral tear, maybe you're just, hip is deteriorated, you have arthritis, or you have flat femur heads like me, a genetic defect. So, you know, those situations can occur. I mean, I didn't figure that out till I was 45. That's why I needed a hip replacement. So I'm always careful on those leg lifts when you're here, that both feet stay forward. Because the way your body will cheat here is it will go, because it wants to go big. It's like, oh, why can't we go this big? We should be able to go this big, but this big, this is mushy as a marshmallow. I'm only working my quad here. My glute isn't even really working. So if you stay stacked with the feet flex and you keep this motion little, not only will you probably not snap, crackle, and pop, but you'll also be working from your core. Exhale up, inhale down. And really lead, I say lead with the heel so that the toe doesn't turn up, because that's a cheap way for the body to work the quad and not anything else. So that's my answer on snap, crackle, and pop. It's probably a range of motion issue. And if you make the movement a little bit smaller, you don't take your leg all the way up to the ceiling, you probably will, and change the foot position. Not only will it be harder and you'll feel that whole sideline of your body, but it actually works to get rid of that, all that side business, I mean, that's why I do it that way as opposed to a big movement.
Okay, great. So the next question, my mom's in her 70s and I liked her to do balance workouts for her own health, but she says she hates to sweat. These seem to be doable for her, but what do you suggest to help convince people that hate to sweat to do these exercises?
Well, we never sweat here, so I don't know. No sweating. There's a lot of people that don't like to sweat, but those balance classes, like the ones they have at the senior centers, and the ones they have at, you know, the JCCs or even the rec centers in the area, they're not bad, and I don't think you really sweat in them. You know, they're classes for people who are, you know, not as mobile, that they need to learn how to get better balance. But truthfully, the key to better balance is a strong core. So if you have a strong core, you will have good balance, and you will be able to stop yourself from a fall or prevent a fall, and not fall like a rag doll, because you'll feel the minute you go to slip, transverse abdominis kick in. And then you're like, oh, I had an 87-year-old who came to me one day and she's like, you know, I slipped yesterday on the ice. I said, oh, Helen, are you okay? She said, I went down, but I went down so gracefully. She said, and I felt something in here. And I said, yeah, that's your core. That's what we're trying to do. So, you know, you can stand on one leg all you want. I don't know that maybe if you stand on one leg long enough without any of the other cues, you will train your body to balance better in that position. But I don't necessarily know that it's going to help you get a stronger, better balance because of core strength.
Sure. And so maybe
But, yeah.
A good way to do it is this session is going to be on Rolf's social media channels, and it's going to be emailed out. So maybe you can share it with your mom and show her that it really is simple, and that you don't have to sweat to get the results.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't sweat, but maybe people sweat when they did this. I don't know, but usually people don't sweat. And I have people that will come before work and they literally put their work clothes on and go, and they love it. They don't, because they're not sweating, right. But they still got a good workout because the work comes from a different place. The work's not coming from momentum-based movements that make you sweat because you're moving a lot. They come from here. So you may, you know, break a sweat, but you're not sweating, right? You may feel like this is hard and like, I just like broke a little sweat, like having a hot flash. You may feel that way, but you won't, you never leave dripping sweat, ever.
Great.
You don't need to.
All right, 2 more questions. This one is, I suffer from lordosis of the spine or swayback. Can you offer one exercise that would help, that I can do that would help ease the pain?
So the biggest issue with lordosis is, yes, it's a spinal, yes, it's a structural issue, but it's usually when you see somebody that has that big curve. So there's 2 things you can have: lordosis, which is in the lower back, and so that's a sway inward, and kyphosis, which is in the upper back, which if you know somebody that has osteoporosis, sometimes they might have that, like that hump in their back there. And that's being kyphotic. And the other is being lordotic. So in either situation, I remind people that your bones are your bones and your muscles are there to support your bone structure. That's what your muscles are created for. They're not just there to look pretty. They're actually there to like help your body do the work it needs to do without just relying on your joints and, you know, all these things that end up getting hurt. If you have a strong core, your core connection helps all those movements better. They be better, be stronger, be more fluid. So lordotic people will have a big curve in their back, but they'll also usually have a belly that sticks out, and you'll see it. And when you just think about navel to spine, you can learn to strengthen your core, that transverse abdominis, as those inner walls cinch in when we're working on that part of our body. It will sort of course correct the lordosis a little bit. Will it change it altogether? No, but it will make it a little less severe and a little more tolerable if you have pain from it. Because most people with lower back pain have a weak core. It's 2 things: a weak core and tight hamstrings are what I see in people that have low back pain if there's no real issue. Lordosis doesn't have to cause low back pain. It can cause low back pain. You can also get course correct and reverse it a little bit if you strengthen your core the right way.
Okay, great. So you've given a lot of great information and shown us a lot of exercises that I'm sure will be really beneficial to everyone. Can we do a summary of your top 3 takeaways that you want all of our community to walk away with?
Yes. It might be a little more than 3. The cues are the 3 things I would love for any or all of you to think about all the time when you're sitting, standing, walking. Where are my shoulders? Shoulders retracted, with my belly hanging out. You can pull navel to spine. I'm pulling navel to spine right now. I'm having a conversation. It is not sucking your belly in because like you're putting on a tight pair of jeans. It's really more of an activation. If I was going to punch you in the stomach, your first instinct would be navel to spine to grip, right? To grab on and like get ready, brace for the punch that's coming. So shoulders retracted, navel to spine, and think about your heels. When you're standing, think about how you're standing. Make sure you can stand, put weight a little bit more on your heels when you're standing. You will feel your glutes work. When you go up the stairs, get your whole foot on the step, not just the ball of your foot. Press through your heel to come up. So you're utilizing the glute. And with all those other things, shoulders retracted and navel to spine, you're actually just walking up the stairs. You will feel things connect that you would not feel if you just walked up the stairs without thinking those things. So those are my 3 takeaways. If you can think any or all of those things, and a cue that I give all of my clients that I'm going to share with you too, because they all tell me it works, is when you get in your car, sit in the driver's seat or passenger seat, driver's seat, and pull navel to spine. So when I'm not navel to spine in my car, I'm this way. And all I have to do is think, pull my belly button in towards my spine. Look what happens. I'm not even thinking about my shoulders. Automatically, there's an anatomical connection. You pull navel to spine, you're gonna sit up taller. You're gonna sit up where you should be in proper posture. Set your rear view mirror there, because when you are not navel to spine, you will be just a little bit lower, enough for you, not too much so that it's dangerous, but enough for you to say like, oh, navel to spine, I got it, so I can see out my rear view mirror. People love it. I mean, I don't do it anymore necessarily, but I used to. I mean, now I just think navel to spine because that's how I've trained my brain, and it just knows. And sometimes I'm not, and my brain reminds me like, hello, navel to spine. Oh, okay, you know, slumping over the grocery carts. Like, this doesn't feel right. Oh yeah, because you're slumping over the grocery cart, navel to spine, so you stand up taller. So there's just little tricks that you do to get your brain connected to your body so that you can make those two things work together, because there's scientific proof that if you do something long enough, your brain begins to take that pattern on, and it does it on its own. So that's what I have found teaching this for 25 plus years, is that if you tell your brain long enough what you want it to do with your body, it automatically will start to do that.
That's incredible.
So those are my three things.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lily. We truly appreciate you coming back
Right.
and sharing all of this. How can people get in touch with you if they want to take a class with you? I'm sure the way that things are right now, virtual is, they have a lot of virtual classes.
I have classes in studio, two different kinds, a mat class that's an hour, that is challenging. So if you're not somebody that has a lot of mobility and can get from standing to laying down on the ground, that's not a class for you. There's also a class with, it's called Mat and Machine. So it's a half an hour of mat. And then I'm just gonna turn my camera so you can see. And then a half an hour on that little apparatus right there. And you can see that at the bottom over there, this pad, this square pad over here is actually a trampoline. So you can do like, not bouncing, no jumping, just little like rebounding things and catch with your heels. It actually fires up your glutes, and it's a great core and lower body workout. So there's those, Mat and Machine, it's an hour. And they're a little more gentle. It's a little more gentle because the reformer is not as hard as the equipment in Pilates is not as hard as the mat. On the equipment, you have things moving and pulleys and springs, and there's a lot of assistance that can happen instead of resistance. And we don't want to make assistance, we want to make resistance. Sometimes the equipment, because there are so many moving parts, it can give you assistance and not resistance. On the mat, what we just did on a chair, in the bed, off the bed, you're standing, that is actually a little bit harder than the equipment, because you have to use your body to control the movements, and your core is what's controlling everything. So that's a little more gentle because you have half an hour of the mat and then half an hour of the equipment. Online, there's multitude of ways. There's the core method on demand, which is my 1 hour Zoom classes that I do every week. I do 2 of them. So it's a 1 hour, I think there's 40 hours of content on there. So it's $15. You can rent a video. I will tell you, they're not easy. And if you start, you want to start from the first one, not at 45, because they get progressively harder as we go along. And they're all with things you have at home. You don't have weights, fine. Use water bottles. Garbanzo cans, big cans of garbanzo beans actually get really heavy, and you can use them as weights. Tomato cans, they're heavy. You can use them as weights. So you don't need any kind of real fancy equipment to do those classes. And then there's Stretch, Strength, and Stability, which is a new program that I launched with my partner, excuse me, Arlene Bass, who owns Body Evolve in downtown Highland Park. She's my mentor. She trained me 20 years ago. And we came up with this program for basically people who have never moved before. They're not fitness people, they're not fit, but they need to move and they need to do something and they need to strengthen their core. So it's a class, it's 3 classes a week. There's 6 months of content on there right now. We haven't started filming new content, but we will. And every week it's 3 videos, a stretch video, a strength video, and a stability video. So the stretch is literally stretching. We're on a chair, we're on a wall, we're doing all sorts of cool, innovative things. Or we're doing strength and we're doing stuff where we're on the ground or we're in a bed. We can do the work in a bed. You can roll back in a bed. You can do lots of things laying down, whether it's on a bed or on the floor. And then the stability portion is like all the standing work we did. And it's, you know, a little toned down just because it's really to get people motivated to want to move their bodies because they haven't really moved their bodies in a long time or ever. And so it's very doable and it's good. Gives you 3 different programs to do every week. And they're short, they're 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They're not long, but it's worthy work. And that one's called Stretch, Strength, and Stability. So
Great.
any of those, and that's a monthly program for $15 a month. So
Fantastic.
you can do that for $15 a month, or you can rent a video for $15 a video.
Great. And I know that if everyone looks into the chat, we've put a link to your website as well as to the class, the Stretch, Strength, and Stability class.
Great. Awesome. Yeah.
So,
Any of those ways are great. And I also do privates on the other side of this space, which, you know, keeps me busy all day.
well, great. Well, keep up doing the great work. We truly appreciate everything that you're doing and teaching us, and we feel stronger for it. So thank you.
Good.
And
thank you. It was my pleasure to be here. And thanks so much for having me again.
Thank you. Take good care.
Thanks, you too.
And thank you for everybody for joining us tonight and asking such candid questions and interesting questions. If you're catching this on a replay, be sure to comment replay in the comments so that we can make sure to get Lily your questions and get answers back to you. Next month, we will be talking about setting boundaries and featuring Rosalind Turner, who is a licensed clinical social worker with illness navigation resources. Keep an eye out on our social channels for details and time and date. And if you have ideas for future Wellness Wednesdays, you can always email us at info@rolffoundation.org or send us through social channels as well. And don't forget to put DASH on your calendar for Saturday, June 11th. On behalf of everybody at Ralph Pancreatic Cancer Foundation, thank you for joining us tonight. Until next time, stay healthy and take good care. Good night.